What is up, everybody? What's up? Welcome back to the AM, guys. Welcome back to 5 Minute Rants. I'm your host, Michael Abernathy, and welcome to the show predicated on the journey of life and business. I hope you're doing well. Hope life is treating you guys good. Today, everybody, I wanted to talk about how you cannot win without measurement, okay? And this is what I mean. Oftentimes, we actually have a goal, or we're working towards something, or we have a purpose, right? We're creating, we're building, we're trying to get somewhere. But we've never actually defined what the finish line looks like. We've never actually defined how we're going to get there. We never defined what the end goal looks like. We never defined any of that because, see, here's the real deal. Constant improvement is forever. It never ends. You're never going to reach perfection. You're never going to achieve perfection. It's never going to be that. And so if you are looking to win, if you are actually looking to have a finish line for anything that you're currently working on in the business, in life, in your journey, you have to have a finish line. You got it, and then that finish line must be defined by yourself. So you've got to define what the finish line looks like, okay? And really what I'm saying is you cannot win without measurement. If you're not measuring, how do you know you've won? So like when we first started doing advertising and when we started offering services for advertising, things like that, one of the things that we kept talking to our clients about was, hey, you have to ask. You've got to ask your customers, where did they come from? Where did they come from? How did they find out about your services? How did they find out about you? How did they get here? How did they arrive at this destination, right? And if you don't ask that, we have no idea if the marketing is working internally. Like we can see the marketing translate from traffic outside of the site to the site and then clicking on certain things, but there's no form of measurement. So we don't know if the marketing's actually working. We don't know if it's doing what you want it to do because there's no other further measurement within the company. All measurement stopped with us and never proceeded further with the client. And that's how life works. If you don't actually measure and you don't come up with a definitive line of measurement and you're not looking at the finish line, you have no idea if you actually made it or not. You have no idea how far you've actually come, how far you have to go, or whether you've actually completed your goal or your journey or not, right? How do you know when something is good enough to ship? How do you know that you've actually completed that process? Another thing that we learned early on was when we were doing development or when we were working, projects would be endless because we keep finding things to improve. We didn't have any standard to say, hey, this was good enough. Our quality is well above an A+, and we should ship. We didn't have a standard like that. So we just kept improving and improving and improving, and projects would never end. And I'm saying this because you and I, without defining what quality looks like, without defining the finish line for a project, without defining the finish line or the shipping date and why something is actually able to pass through quality control to ship and be shipped out of our lives in our journey, without defining that, we will never do it. It will be an endless cycle of just getting stuck and spinning over and over and over to improve. And so I'm saying this because if you don't define the finish line, you can never win. And if you don't define your starting line, if you don't know where you're starting from, you'll never begin the race. For instance, I tell people all the time, if you don't know where you're at, how do you know that you're going to go eat at the restaurant just down the street? How do you know to get there? So, for instance, I'm in Georgia, right? I want to go to the beach. If I don't know that I'm in Georgia, how am I going to map and plan my way, right, to Florida to go to the beach? I don't know. And that's the same thing with what I'm talking about right now. If you don't measure and define the finish line, you are not going to win. And you actually will never be able to start if you don't take a correct assessment of where you're at right now currently. And where you're at right now currently matters. It doesn't matter whether you're negative, neutral, or positive with what you're doing. It doesn't matter whether you're behind the curve or whether you have a lot of work ahead of you or whether you're starting off on a better foot or whether you're actually positive in a lot of areas and can get momentum quickly. None of that matters. What matters is that you understand where you are at today in order to be able to get where you want to go tomorrow. And both of those things require measurement. And so without that, you have no idea if you've won or if you've lost. If you don't know and haven't defined the finish line or the start line, you will never know if you've actually won or lost. Anyways, guys, I'm out of time, so I'll catch y'all later. Peace.